Hello, welcome to Will Forge. Today we will forge. Now, what we're going to do today is actually a little bit weird because we're in a between phase. Hold on, let me get to my proper stream setup up here. Okay, we're in a between phase. Now, right now, there we go. Waterworks is effectively finished. I'm going to I still have to do the fixes for the classic version. The modern version is up to date, and as far as I can tell, is as fixed as it needs to be. If I ever have to do any more tweaks, it's going to be little things that one person finds here and there from time to time, but that might be months, you know what I mean? So instead, we're going to be going into... Wait, what's that? Oh, wait, that's just my announcement for the video. Gotcha. Ooh, someone's got a WIP project. Cool, I'll have to look at that later. Anyway, so we're getting started with the next one, the next map. The next map is going to be the one I'm working on with Clint. Now, today, the weird thing we're going to do is we're not going to be building the map proper. We're going to go into Forge and use Forge to sort of do a layout for a map, not a block out even. I'm going to talk about mechanics, and I'm going to figure out where things need to be, because the things on the map aren't just going to be pretty, they're going to have mechanical purpose. Some things, anyway. Some key objects. Now I'm thinking Institute. I haven't quite decided if we do Myers. I like Myers a lot, especially with the way that its grass looks and stuff like that, with the palette, with the the terrain you can place down. But obviously Institute is also pretty nice. It's really about the background a lot of the time. Like you got those mountains in the background. If you raise your territory, your what do you call it, map up high enough, then all you see is that. You don't even see the ground, so... and most maps do. But it doesn't really matter, because in this case, this might end up becoming a different one. I might even go to Arid, because honestly, that would be really cool to have. I'm going to try Arid. Let's do that. And we're going to say... New project layout. There's a reason why Arid might be cool. Might be cool for the, yeah. What's going on here? When the back started a thread, I wanted the background specifically. See all threads? Oh. Interesting. Oh, okay, cool. Need some pictures. What was your inspiration for this background? The map is a 1-to-1 remake of Halo 4 Daybreak. Not a clue what map that is. Halo 4 maps aren't memorable other than Haven. Might recognize it by picture, but from name only, I don't have a clue. You can always look it up on the internet. I did and don't recognize it. Don't think I've ever seen or played that map. The entire Halo 4 was the thing. Wow. Well, I recognized it immediately. It's pretty popular right now, at least. Okay, let's see. Awesome reflection volumes in your Daybreak remake on stream yesterday. I was thinking of Waterworks. The two huge reflection volumes floating over the bases could be shrunk so they don't cover the side Forerunner tunnels. I was thinking the same thing, such bridges, and then you could have less of their lights bleed into the interior of the tunnels. I was thinking of that, and then the ones on the bridges could become that reflection volume for that area. The default reflection volumes causes issues. You could surround it with a black-walled hollow cube, and hopefully if the blending is an additive, you would get less bleed through for better interior lighting. Mr. Sir. Oh, that was you asking if we were going to stream today. We are streaming. Oh, what's this? Excited to see how different build this map now with all the knowledge. Yes. So obviously I really want that global light. Oh, Ocom, what I was trying to ask yesterday, and I realized might be relevant here is... Okay, so the reflection volumes take basically a three-dimensional screenshot of your map, right? It's like a 3D camera kind of in all directions. And based on your graphics settings, that can come out looking better or worse, right? Hey, Clint, how's it going? Welcome to the stream involving our map. So what I was wondering is, and you're saying that it can be better or worse based on your graphics card. Does that also mean that if you're farther away from the reflection volume, the resolution of that image it takes gets lower and lower and lower? So that's what I was kind of asking yesterday whenever you were like, I'm not sure what you mean, with your map, you were so close to the global reflection volume that's free. And I was like, wow, that actually probably gets you a higher resolution on your image, but I wasn't explaining it very well, and I couldn't think of how to explain it properly, what I meant. So then I was just confusing you. But basically, I was just wondering if that's actually applicable. Does that reflection volume of there being so high off the ground right now, for example, mean that the reflection volumes of this, like, it's not going to be like this, it's going to be like that resolution. You know what I mean? And if it's that resolution, will it look worse when reflecting off of objects that are, like, in the map? The resolution like that. I think it just teleports your camera to the location. Yes, should build the final version with the best video settings and some items hidden on the map, like flag stands. Okay, yeah, so that's cool. So I really like this map for it, for the map that we're talking about, but, and I'll explain why later. Just like this palette, or this canvas, I mean. But so because there's going to be some resource fighting over, like you're fighting over resources, so having a giant desert and having these look like the only resources in the area might be really cool. I think Clint knows what I'm talking about, but I haven't started talking about the actual placement of things yet. So see, I like it because you can see the halo. Yeah, that too. It's also on the halo ring, and I think it's the only one on a halo ring, and I really wish it wasn't. Because, you know, there should be a halo in all the Halo maps. Not really, but there should be. Let's see. Okay, so the other thing is, if we end up having to go with a very flat sort of canvas and then build up terrain, like little hills off of this, because we want a large map, but we also don't want to use up a lot of budget because we need it for the scripting, then with Season 3 you might even be able to do nice oasis parts. That's true, but you shouldn't worry about the resolution of the image. The most important is the stuff reflected around it. Don't build your map that it's 400 units higher than the floor of the map, but you can't really do that if you start the map on the arid floor. Yeah. Exactly. I'm not going to really start the map today. I'm going to start showing layout of the map so that I can sort of like a flat version of the map down low, so I can then project that up and make an actual map. Since we're not making a remake today, we're planning. So basically, the map design, I could just leave it with all this set up and just go straight into, you know, layout. I don't know if those were a bad idea, but anyway, yeah, we'll just put it into layout. So the idea for the map, we'll get into what the thing is, and I'm gonna use fancy objects so that they look cool. Let's see. All right, we're gonna use a giant Forerunner object of some kind, like an angle, probably maybe one of those default ones. Okay, we're just, even though this is actually gonna be probably UNSC themed structure over here. Anyway, so we've got the idea, and this is not going to be where it's located. I'm just putting it as far away from every other area as possible right now, or, well, practically. And then I'm going to move it around. So we've got the idea of doing bases, right? Each team has a base across from each other. We can sort of turn this one around. Let's see. And move it over there. You know what? I'm going to go into mouse and keyboard and just do this. What are you saying? Oh man, as soon as I start stream, my daughter came in saying she's hungry. Okay, I'll come get you something in just a minute, okay? Don't worry. Do you want to go grab a snack in the meantime? There are apples and stuff. There aren't any granola bars. We're out of granola bars. Okay, let's see. There's stuff going on. I'm back. What did you say you're making? Hopefully not a remake. Definitely not a remake. New map, new idea, and new game mode in a sense. So we're going to do something like two bases across from each other. But the thing about the bases is that they're going to upgrade over time. They're going to get bigger. They may not literally like a single structure that adds on. It might be a structure that has like other structures around it that like almost like Halo Wars kind of get built. Or come out of the ground, or fall from the sky, or whatever we can figure out. The ones in Halo Wars, of course, you know, open up and a building comes up and out, and that would work. But we haven't decided how that's actually going to work, because that's all scripting, and it might be too expensive to do that kind of insanity. Then we're going to have, let's see, where's that little plinth? That's like a really nice little, it's really cool, comes all the way from Halo 2, maybe Halo 1. I know it's in Halo 2, but it's made of like old rough stone in Halo 2. Let's see. Geez, let's see. Door, small. There it is. Decorative object. There it is. Decorative something. Okay, so, you know, okay. That looks cool and all, but who is going to make the script? That is going to be Clint. Clint is going to make the script. So we're going to have to figure out how to do the, that's what I'm saying. I don't know if how we're going to actually have the base expand. I think Clint was thinking of like more like hard light objects sort of just appearing out of nowhere. You know, that kind of thing. We could, for example, spawn a big glowing light orb and then have the objects sort of spawn in there. Or even a death ball so that anybody who's like trying to hang out where it's supposed to be will die so we don't have any clipping issues. I don't know, but this is all stuff I'm going to work out with Clint. Like Clint is probably going to be the one working them out, actually. So the idea is this: you've got two different kinds of resources that are on the map. Think RTS resources. Oop, that's not what I wanted to do. Yeah, like sort of imagine it like RTS resources. There are two kinds. One is a passive, I did buy Alan Wake, by the way. Oh, nice. One is a passive, continuous increase, territories point, that if you take it, then it increases this one resource. Like constantly. So you want to try to control those. Meanwhile, throughout the map, I'm going to use this as a representative of the other kind. There are a few points in the map that sort of generate. Let's see. There was a specific one. Oh, did I go too far? I think it was more toward the top, and I just messed up. This, because it looks like it might spawn something in. There are these smaller points throughout the map. Oop! Don't die. That are going to be, I'm just throwing these into positions. These are not at all final locations, so I'm just trying to give an idea. Let's see, these might be farther. Yeah, or like farther from the bases than these. There might be one of these near near each base, or like somewhat near each base, and then these will be slightly farther away. Or more toward the center of the map, rather. What did I... Oh, what is happening? Why isn't it duplicating? Oh, because I'm pressing the wrong button. I'm thinking of... Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing. Clearly I'm a noob to Forge, everyone. Okay. Duplicate is not... What happened to my... Like... What happened to my sudden inability to Forge? I thought I was pressing the right one, but I was... Oh, I'm stuck in move. Oh, I'm dumb. Okay, that's obvious. It was a bug. That's why I suddenly lost the ability to Forge. Okay, so we've got this over here. Snap that to ground. Okay, so these are going to be representative of these smaller points. Where we're going to duplicate another one and move it over here. Just to give an idea. And then this one, duplicate. Oop, get out of the move. Duplicate, and then move that one over. I think I'm going to have to get a better angle on that so I can actually grab that line. This is my understanding of what we were talking about, Clint, by the way, so if anything is wrong, you let me know. Now that we've got a visual aid. We were discussing a bunch of things, and we went over a lot of different options over time, so like you'll see if we have a misunderstanding, then it might have happened. We talked about a lot of different stuff. That looks cool and all, but oh yeah, let's see. Just keep in mind that it's moving the thing again. Okay. Just keep in mind not to think that the whole Forge canvas are the boundaries of the play space of a Big Team Battle map. The largest Big Team Battle map size should be around. Yes, I'm just using this as a layout. These are also way oversized. Like, there's no way we're building a base of that scale unless it's visual design that high and just has a few like platforms or something like that. I don't think we can fill out an entire structure that big. And then, well, maybe we could with the resources, but that would be like the only two structures on the map if we did that. That's like the entire central structure of Waterworks in size, and that was like 22% of the budget, so yeah, I don't think that's going to be the case. Okay, anyway, so we've got these different places, okay? These zones, these little ones spawn in something like, spawn in fusion coils, and you can use them as a weapon, but the purpose of them is actually to bring them back to your base. When you grab a fusion coil, it'll pop up with like a nav marker that'll tell you to bring it back to your base, and I've started Hellblade. Oh, nice. Oh, my wife always wanted to play that one. I always considered it. It looks really cool. It's kind of like God of War, right? In gameplay. Anyway, so it spawns fusion coils. You bring the fusion coils back to your base. When you put them into a pot thing, it's a lot like the seeds, right? So the seeds are going to power up your base and make it stronger. And that will be one of your resources, and then these will generate a resource that's continuous upgrade, like continuous increase over time, and it's about a territory's control. So in a sense, we've got capture the flag to build your base, territories to build your base, and we've considered some options that involve working in assault into this, but those are going to be like if budget is possible to do this, which means we would have to really work hard to budget for it. Hellblade is bussin', Clint says. So basically, we're ending up using a lot of different game modes at the beginning to establish a sort of strategy mode portion of the map. After this is over, there's going to be a timer. When that timer reaches 0, there's going, it's like maybe something like round, we might use rounds. So you just we come in here in Slayer with 2 rounds set up or something like that for your game mode. Not sure how we're going to work that out, but basically, because I don't know if does the scripting have a timer, or would we have to like just script a timer to increment down every game tick and make it display the current number or whatever. I feel like using the game clock. Actually, why don't they have scripts that add time to the game clock? That would be interesting. Like go into overtime. I'm not sure. Anyway, the point is, so you've got this. Let's see, we can't do next round. Okay. So we're basically we're going to have 2 phases. We're going to have a phase where you're gathering resources and building up your base. And then the second phase is going to come around, and suddenly it's going to become Slayer. And because variables will be reset, I think. Not sure, to be honest. I don't know, because I know that you can do on round start, and I wonder if on round start you could somehow inherit something. I'm not sure. We'll have to figure out if we can cross over from round to round, because if we could, that would work as a means of making this function. But if not, I don't think it's not really necessary to like do it that way. Yeah. So essentially something looking a lot like this, not like this at all, probably. By the end, there's going to be very different locations. But the point is that there will be, you're going to do a first phase. It's going to be like a strategy, and then you'll go into a Slayer mode. And once this is done, the current map will be locked in. So I like the idea personally, now that I've got it laid out like this, of doing it to where there's like a main base, not this size obviously, and then the added on components add portions around to the map to where like the map is almost like imagine like Blood Gulch whenever you start, but then by the end of it, by the time you get into Slayer mode, there's not just the 2 bunkers. There's like the bunker is bigger, and also there's like a building that wraps around the cliff on one side. You know what I mean? That like that like appears, and maybe like something like some kind of easier access to the tunnels. Instead of having to climb up that cliff, there's like a straight up ramp or something to that effect, or something like that. And then on the other side, railing to give you the ability to combat your opponent, which of course would mirror in Blood Gulch to the opposite ridge, and make it to where it's easier access up that ridge for the red base, and then they have some kind of additional structure on the front end that gives them like crenellations, like cover, and allows them to do this, and spawns in weapons, like weapon pads will appear, things like that. And then if we do that, then we can also expand out and make it to where respawn points appear there, so like you're not as boxed in. So you really want to expand your base before you get to round 2, or else you're going to end up with with you know, with if you do nothing, then by the time you get to round 2, you might be getting spawn sniped for example, because your base is so simple. We're going to try to avoid that as a possibility in case one team is so good at the game that they can prevent the enemy's team from expanding. But the point is that if you're not good at objective, then you're going to have a harder time in Slayer. And so you push objective first, then you hop into Slayer. And so this is the kind of idea we were thinking about. And yeah, what do you guys think? Does it sound like fun to play? And Clint, do you have any other thoughts on this to mention before I start extrapolating in weird ways or something? Because basically we will be limited in scaling objects because they can't be dynamic if they're scaling. So we will have to go with a lot of the default shapes if we're going to use fancy shapes. And we can use the construction, the objects in here. New buildings will provide cool vehicles. Oh yeah, that's the other thing. Yeah, basic map is going to be, if there's vehicles, it might be a mongoose, you know what I mean, per team, so that you can go out and try and get those. If each team has a single mongoose, the mongoose would be constantly in use trying to grab those fusion coils, trying to go out and pick up people who grab the fusion coil and bringing them back. And then if they and then that'll be the kickoff. That'll be like a kickoff for getting the resources. But then eventually you can unlock things like a second mongoose will spawn in, and then maybe a razorback. But then in addition to that, those are your resource gathering vehicles. Maybe we could even do it to where those get replaced with combat vehicles whenever we get into the actual, the Slayer portion. All your mongooses get replaced with gun gooses. All of your what do you call it? Razorbacks get replaced with rocket hogs, but before that, it'll also spawn in warthogs that you can use during the resource gathering portion, and then later on, those will still be warthogs whenever you get to Slayer. So we could do something like that, where things get shifted from we're doing objective. You have objective-based equipment, maybe even the equipment on the map too. And then whenever you get into the Slayer portion, now it's everything's very Slayer-centric. You know what I mean? For example, you don't want a repulsor or a fusion coil. You can with the seeds because they won't blow up, but you don't want a repulsor or a fusion coil. They can be useful though, especially if someone throws one at you. A repulsor can be useful. I mean, but then the grapple shot will be extremely useful in the resource gathering phase, because you can grapple shot a fusion coil from cover into your hand and go running, or put it in the back of your razorback. So that kind of thing we can put, and drop walls. But then we can increase the we can bring up other things later on. In other words, focus of where you're going to want to go for equipment is going to shift over time, because some of them are going to be way more powerful at the beginning and then become just regular Slayer equipment later, and then others will be kind of defensive or whatever. But anyway, it's going to be pretty cool. I really like this evolving concept. So yeah, in the Halo design set, for example, we can set, everyone knows we can go to dynamic, and we can go to, oh, this one doesn't have it. Huh. Which ones have it? Oh wait, it's just the cube, isn't it? It's not the Halo design set options. Yeah. Or is it the MP? Nope. I wonder if they're going to add additional objects that can be dynamically different scales. But let's see. Primitives, blocks, obviously the Forerunner block. And you can go dynamic, and you can change the size. So this is going to be extremely important. These objects, I thought we could do it. I always forget which ones are fully workable, but basically we need to we're basically going to be stuck playing with things like the accents and going with what their default size is. So that's one of the things about the map that's also going to be about scale, is that we will be limited by what kind of scale these objects are going to be. So yeah. So basically, yeah, the scale of the map is not going to be this. This would be insane. It would be really cool to have to drive the warthog all the way over there to get it, but also that means the enemy has to drive all the way over here to intercept. So I don't know if that's actually a good idea. We definitely are going to want to do things like man cannons as well to sort of get across the map really quickly. So these are all very important concepts, essentially, that I'm working on now. I almost went into paint for this, by the way, so I could like draw lines and stuff. But yeah, which I still technically could. I could probably go up. Nope. I don't know if I can get high enough to get a screenshot of this. I'd have to bring everything in closer. We could also block buildings by having a big rock covering it. That's true, and removing it when it's unlocked. But not a fan of this, but it's a possibility. Yeah, it would mean that the map doesn't grow. It doesn't like instead of a building being built on the map that's already there and the map becoming more detailed, the map would be getting larger as we go, which isn't bad. Like you saying, we could do that. A large rock would work. The rocks do actually have multiple scales, even as dynamic objects, so we can delete them as well. Let's see, biomes, rocks, like, we can do dynamic, and we can do large, and then place a bunch of these in there. That would be cool. Another option is, you know, we could, instead of rocks, we could do some kind of Forerunner kind of aesthetic or something like that. If we, instead of doing human base, we could do Forerunner structures. What is your new project? That's what we're talking about right now. Instead of a new, what do you call it? Like putting rocks around a UNSC base and having them be destroyed, we could do something like, actually, Glenn, what about this? We could make it look like the base is under construction there. Like an RTS has, like, you know, you place a building in Warcraft, and, you know, these tarps and things, you know, and posts and stuff like that appear. And then as the structure builds, you know, it's got like scaffolding and stuff. And as the structure builds, they go move lower and lower. We could like block it off with like player block or team blockers, and then build scaffolding around it to look like it's under construction, and even make that some of that scaffolding like part of the, you know, part of the like the terrain, so that the terrain does become more detailed in that area, but it also still has some kind of structure there. We could play with something like that. Okay, so the new project that we're talking about right now, photography, is that we are what we're going to do is we're going to have bases. We're going to have two phases to the game. First phase is your bases are smaller, and there are these large structures. Let's see, the scaffolding thing might take too much budget. It might, exactly. That would expand the budget for each building a lot. So I don't know if that would work. Another option, though, is if it's Forerunner, we could theoretically put like team blockers and like you know, Ocom helped me with yesterday with the what do you call it? Waterworks. He had me put, and it was a great idea, the what do you call it? The one of the hill nav markers in one of the game modes. I'll remember which one it is. If Ocom's in chat, maybe he can just say. But where basically it's got this really cool animation of like energy fields moving up, rather than just being a marker that's just like a you know, a rectangle of energy. It's got an animation of these like light rings kind of moving up. So you can make it square and make it light rings moving up that are square, or you can make it round. And we could put that around the object, and then we could put a player blocker. Inflation everywhere, Lamau. Yes. We could block off areas like that, and once you power up, it would come on, and we could do something to the effect of having lights be like red in those areas and turn blue as if the area is powered on, or be no lights and then have them light up or something like that. I don't know. But these are all different options that we could go with that have merits, like strength and weaknesses, I think, because it would be kind of cool to be able to see what structure is going to be built there. That's a strength. But I think that aesthetically it's more pleasing to have like a UNSC base build out of nowhere or something like that, or construct itself in some weird way. So like, yeah, I don't know. It's entirely up to you on what you think we could do. I guess not entirely, because I guess I'll have some say, but I think that what you can script and as cheap as we can make it. The budget, I guess, is what it's up to. It's entirely up to the budget, I guess, in a way. But we'll figure out which one is the best. Yeah, so anyway, you're going to have bases across from each other, and during the sort of operational phase of the map, you're going to have these structures here are going to generate resources continuously, like a territories capture, and these are going to be something where you bring back a fusion coil and it'll get like a boost, and those boosts will be pretty substantial, enough that it'll be worth it to not worry as much about going after one of these necessarily, and instead go after a fusion coil. That's going to be like, it'll be faster. Like if your entire team ignored these and just did fusion coils and got every single one of them back to the base as like an assembly line because the enemy ignored you, then you're probably going to end up building your base significantly more than if you even went after these. So we're going to have to try and work out exactly how that's going to work, and that's why these are going to be farther away from the base than these. These are going to be cheaper, they're like less effective, like maybe even to the point where like these are like really close to the bases. But capturing your opponents would be a good thing. I don't know. What might work, Clen, is if the more of these you have, the more they produce. So like if we built like one, like if we had more than one per side of the map, right? Like one that's farther out and one that's closer in, like this, right? And we did something like, let's see, like we have one that's really close to the base over here, one that's more, oh, well, let me, yeah, deselect all is broken, sorry, there we go. And then one that's closer to mid, right? So we have two that are really close to mid, barely off center, and then two that are like really close to the bases. And what we could do is we could be like, yeah, if you have one, it generates like, we'll just say it won't be this low, but well, because that's not satisfying. But we'll just say one resource. Like it generates one resource while it's back there. Each one of them generates one resource if you have one of them. Each one generates 2 or 3 resources. Like let's say 3 resources. Or how about this? One script that says, depending on how many you have, generate this amount of resources. And it would be something like, if you've got one, it generates 1 resource per second. If you have 2 of them under your control, it generates 3 resources per second. If you have 3 of them under your control, it generates 5 resources per second. Fusion coils might be, or not per second, but per second, I guess. And it might take like, you know, 10 seconds to get a fusion coil and get it back to your base, or maybe 20 seconds to drive out there, grab it, drive back. I don't know, however long, 30 seconds, something like that. 30 seconds of fun would be a good target, I think, for a run to go get a fusion coil. Basically, yeah, 30 seconds, you go, you run, you grab it, you bring it back to your base, and in the process, like by the end of that 30 seconds, the resources gathered by these towers, if you own like say 3 of them, is actually greater than if you bring that fusion coil back. But if you own 2 of them, the fusion coil is technically a little bit higher. If you only own 1 of them, then the fusion coil is significantly higher because it's only 1 resource per second. You see what I mean? So like we can make it like sort of like an exponential growth with the towers, and a definitive incremental growth if you bring back fusion coils. And then by the end of it, you'll have built up your base and stuff like that really well. Another question is, though, how do you decide which part of the base builds next? And we can just say, oh, that's on a track. You know, this one builds next, then that one, then that one. You know, that way we can say, well, if you build this one, like obviously this one's going to build first, and it does not have tanks. But that one over there, the third one that builds, it comes with a tank. So you want to get to that tank. We could do that. Another option is, though, that we make one where one of the main benefits or only benefits is that it has a tank. The other one, though, has like a teleporter that'll teleport you all the way across to the enemy base, or to some kind of like where you can take their tank easier, that kind of thing, like or some kind of like you know, rocket launchers and things like that, all in one area that balances it against the tank section, right? And then what we could do is have it to where players can go into the building and flip a switch, and it sort of votes on which section builds next. And everyone has, you know, everyone has a vote there, basically. And and basically the one that has the most votes would be the next one that's built. That's more scripting, though, and so that may not be possible. It may be better just to put it on a track. That's just like an incremental growth track that's also simpler, so new players don't have to, you know, learn what's happening, since we can't give them a tutorial on this. We've got to sort of build it with, you know, we have to build it with that in mind, you know? So yeah, the selection of builds are going to be handled by the script on a track. Voting system is a budget suicide. Yeah, exactly. I think that, yeah, exactly. Voting system would be a budget suicide. Yeah, I just, I think it'll be cool in the future, I think, to make something that allows players to do this kind of thing. This is completely unrelated. I had another game mode in mind where you put the seeds into pot. Anyway, it's not related. The point is that this is it'll be really cool. I can't wait to see what they do with scriptable scriptable game modes, because whenever we get to the ability to script game modes, they might allow us to make rounds, and in the first round make it seed based rather than fusion coils. We liked the idea of making it to where if you're in a pinch, you can chuck that fusion coil to blow up an enemy and survive, but that also means your resource is gone. So there's like this sort of competition, but basically, yeah, if we do a thing, you know what I mean, like it could be really cool to do a thing where once they add the objective scripting, we may be able to bring some of this out of the map, make a new version of it later that's even better. But for now, the way that we're going to do it is basically work around the system that's here. If by the time, Season 3 is in like a week, if it turns out that they're going to, shadow drop, custom game mode scripting next week with Season 3, which I seriously doubt, but who knows. If they were already in the works with it before they released Forge, that could be possible. If they just started it right after Forge launched, then that may take a while. But the point is that if we do have some kind of ability to do that soon, then that's going to drastically boost this. But for now, the mode is going to be entirely in the map, and that's going to use all of our simulation memory. But anyway, the point is that if we do that, then we might switch it off of fusion coils to seeds, or make two different things. A seed may be worth a certain number of points, and you put it into your seed pad, and then a fusion coil might be worth a different number of points, or something to that effect. But I'm thinking, yeah, we're going to play with it. We both liked the idea, though, of being able to chuck the fusion coil at an enemy at the last second, and also the fact that the enemy can like snipe the fusion coil in your hand and just blow you up. So that's all fun. Another question, though, Clint, this is and maybe you guys want to give a feedback on this, is the way I've got set up all of it's like neutral flag, you're going out and grabbing a fusion coil. We could, however, make it more like capture the flag, where you've got where there's sort of like specific flags that your team captures versus what your opponent's team captures. And if that was the case, what we would do, I've still got that thing selected for some reason. I think deselect all is broken again. There we go. Okay, now I'm not selecting anything. Basically, what we could do for that is, I think the neutral would be more fun. It would be. The question, the thing about it is, though, they have to be in the middle of the map if that's the case. Because if they're really close to a base, then they're really fast, just do it. And then enemies are going to have to, people are going to be trying to just, dedicate this time to, gather as many resources as possible and not even worry about killing the enemy because they know Slayer's coming up later. And, yeah, we may be able to make it to where you get points for killing your opponent during this phase, and then it's about total score, about who wins the match. We don't have to, you know what I mean? We don't have to go off the victory number of kills, or we could even adjust the number of kills up and down and stuff like that based on, when you get a kill, we could make it to where, a kill at the beginning is worth 1 kill, and you have to get to 100 or 200 kills to win or something in our game mode. And but then later on in the Slayer portion, every kill is worth 3 points, and then that way it would make it to where the kills at the beginning are worth less than the kills during Slayer, but then they're still worth something. I also think of Harry Potter with this a lot. I'm also thinking about what's our golden snitch. You know what I mean? But that's that's just a nonsense thing. Anyway, the point is that we can consider an idea of a golden snitch. But the point is that these things here are going to be, the idea is, if they're in the middle like this is cool. Some kind of S-bend, these are closer to that base over here and farther over here and blah, blah, blah. It's a good idea. But what this ends up doing is making it to where it's very difficult to balance them versus killing your opponent versus going after this versus a lot of different things, right? But if we go and we move them closer, this is let's say these create the purple fusion coils. Yes, in the middle for more chaos. Yeah. So what if we did 3, though? There's 3 different kinds of fusion coils, right? We can do standard fusion coils in the middle in an S-bend, right? and then we can do purple fusion coils toward one base and orange fusion coils toward the other base. And the orange fusion coils do nothing for the orange base, but the purple fusion coils do something for the purple base. You see what I mean? And we can just use, and the scripting can just check for if it's a purple, you know, or vice versa, like the purple base creates purple fusion coils. Instead of doing red versus blue, we could do purple versus orange. And we could make it to where the purple base generates purple fusion coils, and they're like purple flags. And if the orange base steals one of those fusion coils, then theoretically we could make it to where you steal energy from your opponent's base. Like, when you take that fusion coil out of that zone, their points go down, right? And they won't go down as much as like a neutral fusion coil. Classic tale of the developers already crying when hearing the requirements of the designer. Yeah. So we could basically be like, yeah, okay, so if you if this fusion coil leaves this area, keep it simple, please. Okay. Yeah, if we can just keep it simple to the basic thing, then yeah. Maybe that would be a good alternative to using the towers that continuously tick up. I think the towers are cheaper, scripting-wise, because it's literally just like, you know, it's something like when you capture this zone, like you'd create an area monitor, and like you treat it like a capture plate, or capture zone rather, and then once it's zoned, it's in that one team, and then there's a script that says for each one that's marked as this team, for each one that has, like one script would say for all of these towers, for each one that has a variable of 1, this team, you know, that team, a variable of 1, which is this team, is you know, you get a point for that based on this or whatever. For each one that's a variable 2, you get a point for those. That team gets a point for it. You know, so you could just have it to where you just tick the variable up or down for the tower, and then that tower becomes which team it applies to. And we could theoretically, when we increment it, also switch a light there from like purple to orange or red to blue or whatever we want to do. But yeah, the other thing is, though, that's what I'm saying, though, is like you're saying keep it simple, and that's what I'm saying, though, is that whenever they add the objective-based scripting, so a lot of this maybe will be moved out into that, and or relied on for that. So is this a script heavy map, or oh yeah, I think it might be, Aaron. I think it might be script heavy. So yeah. And so we might be able to move a lot of this out to there, and then so maybe we can keep this in mind of the idea of the purple fusion coils and orange fusion coils for being like capture the flag, and then also neutral. You lost me. You lost me. Oh, okay. Well, I know you don't especially like the script heavy maps. But yeah, we were liking the idea of essentially trying to incorporate all of the game modes into one mode to make a very strategic game mode. You know what I mean? Bring it out of like just tactics and you know, bring it up into like a very strategy heavy layer, which is yeah, one of those things I was talking about on stream, about strategy, operations, and tactics. But basically, yeah, bringing it, like, leaning more into strategy as opposed to tactics and operations. It would be, I think, we're both very excited about it. It's almost like an RTS elements put into like a first-person RTS is what it kind of is, which is not something that I've seen. Okay, there was one game that was a third-person RTS that was like a total war game, except for you got to go down and take control of one of the heroes, and I forget what it was called. Something about fire, not Rain of Fire, maybe Rain of Fire. I don't remember. Anyway, the point is that it was very cool. This will be like, if we can get this good and fun. I'm not aware of another game that does this. I'm sure there's an indie game out there that does this at some point, but it could be like, theoretically, it could, if it's really fun, it could become like League of Legends, you know, where Dota was made in well, first Hero Wars was made in Warcraft 3, then it became Dota in Warcraft 3. Then that team went out and they left. They decided to make their own indie game. They made League of Legends, and then another team took the title of Dota and made an actual Dota game. So because it was like no one had a copyright on Dota, so they went out and made an actual Dota. But anyway, the point is that this is kind of the idea, and I was kind of trying to just place these down so I'd have an idea of what we needed to place where. Obviously, scale is way blown up. I mean, those are spawn points. You know what I mean? That's a player scale. So I've got to figure out how big we can make it, and that's gonna be the main thing. Is like, how much budget do we have for scripts? So that's what I was going to ask you, Aaron. Not Aaron, Glenn. Let's see, can you link Waterworks map from Waypoint to here so people can get it, including myself? Oh, absolutely. Oh, I should start putting that in my descriptions, actually. Duh. I can actually go back and put that into my old descriptions as well. Let's see, where's my Waypoint? I've got it open in Waypoint somewhere. I did at some point. Nope, I've got Obituary open. Wait, is this it? I missed this one. Where's this? Community Corner, Red Knobster. No, that's a Red Knobster article. That was really cool. Okay, it might be in a different window, but no. Okay, I'll have to go get it. Let's see. But yeah, what I was thinking is, Clint, if you could tell me how much budget you think you're going to need for scripting on this. Because like each script brain is like 1% or more, and then you need the objects that are associated with that script brain that have to spawn in. As far as objects are concerned, we can leave that out of the calculation for now because it's literally the map, right? Because we're spawning these things in and out. I mean, obviously these plinths and the like these towers. These towers, by the way, are kind of akin to the ones that you can get that generate resources in what do you call it? Yes.
Which side did you see the T-Rex on? We want to find.
Which side do you see the T-Rex on?
Do you see the T-Rex on?
I don't know what you're talking about.
The T-Rex on the bunk bed.
Oh, on the bunk bed. Oh, there was like a little piece of wood that looked like a piece of the wood that looked like roughly a T-Rex shape. Yeah, you could. I'm not sure. You might have to go look for it, and if you can't find it, then I might have to flip the panel over to make it be there. Don't worry, we'll find it.
Also, one time Freya said that she saw the T-Rex's head.
Well, whenever we find it, use markers to decorate it to look fully like a T-Rex so that we never lose it again. Okay. All right. So, yeah. Okay. Sorry. I have no idea what's happening in chat right now because I've got this window open up here to try and find Waterworks. Okay. So the point is, there we go. I don't know, because of the budget bug, all my script heavy maps are like stuck at 6%. So we'll see in season 3. Yeah. Do you want me to leave a full 10% available to you just for like not including like basically a full 10% for scripting? And I only go to 90. Give me 20. Okay, 20%. Yeah, this is very script heavy, so you're right, that might be necessary. 15%. Okay, we'll haggle. That is one thing that Forge Alert announced today, anybody who missed it, is that the script bug that makes it to where whenever you get to like my Waterworks is at 96%. Actually, Waterworks Classic is locked at 96%. And so is the main Waterworks file, but Waterworks Modern is actually, I deleted the ladders and put in like Gravelifts and stuff like that, so it can get to 97% now. It's finally freed up, so that's pretty cool. And now we wait for the map after this one. I mean, here's the thing, I'm gonna be working on this with Clint, but there's gonna be a lot of times where like I'm waiting on Clint to do something, or like I want to do this on stream, or I want to do that on stream. So I might be able to work on 2 maps at the same time with this one, because if this one is not as it's not all on me. I know Clint is not planning on doing any of the terrain, so the terrain is all on me, but I don't have to spend any of that time. I spent scripting Waterworks is completely freed up, and then on top of that, it's not a cave, so I don't have to build a roof because there's going to be such heavy scripting. I don't have the budget of Waterworks, so I can't build as many objects as Waterworks. I'm also not trying to match someone else's design, so I can get something that looks good into position and make it look great with some of the additives around it, and then move on from there. You know what I mean? I don't have to make this bridge look exactly like the one from Waterworks. I can use the railing that they built, that they actually put into the game for Forerunner railing, and use that instead of building the railing myself. You see what I mean? So a lot of places where Waterworks took extra time, because it was a remake and because it was a cave and because I was scripting it all myself, is all going to be gone. I don't think this is going to take less time to make overall than Waterworks necessarily. If this ends up taking 3 or 4 months, I wouldn't be surprised either. But in the same amount of time, I might be able to make another map, either on stream or off stream. Like I would like to try and get into that Forge Hub competition, because $5,000, I mean, who isn't enticed by that? Or $1,000 or $2,000, or whatever the different layers are. There's like a 5, 3, 2, layers of payout. And so who doesn't want to be in that? But I'm gonna. So I'll probably also be working on one on the side at the same time. But that may be entirely off stream. Once I finish Waterworks, I can start doing that. Try and work on 2, because I have to do something while I'm helping my kids do their schoolwork right next to me. I have to. I'll go crazy if I'm just sitting here waiting for her to finish that part of the assignment and then get into the next part where she needs to ask me a question and then I have to fill her in. It's like 10 minutes, bouts of time. So the last map you started on as soon as Forge was available, correct? So like 3 months to make? Yes, though technically an entire month I was moving and having a baby and having internet issues where like for 3 weeks I didn't even have like the internet was so choppy I wasn't safe to go into Forge at all. And then there's the Forge emblem. I need to get that so I can put it on my videos, on my clips. My what are they called? Thumbnails. Anyway, so like I had a bunch of stuff going in the middle of that. So it took like three-ish months, I would say, to make Waterworks. And so this map might take 2-ish months, maybe, assuming I don't have some major freaking stuff happening, like internet not working like that. Yeah. And Clint is really fast at scripting, whereas I took for fucking ever. I took like 2 or 3 days to finish, like... Actually, I would say I would clock in the stalactites total scripting time from conceptualizing it individually and then realizing and then duplicating it out and then realizing I need to rebuild the whole thing to do all of them at once in one script brain. I would conceptualize that took like an entire 5 day, entire work week to finish that thing. Of stream time and off stream time, whatever is helping my daughter, so with her schoolwork. So yeah, okay, let me get that Waterworks map because I was gonna pull that up and I haven't yet. Oh, I went to Halo Insider. What's going on here? Community, content browser, not Insider, and then go to my bookmarks, and then they should be. Oh, there they are. Cool. Okay, Waterworks Modern. Cool. It's got a 5 out of 5 rating so far. That's good. I'm happy about that. Out of 14 people. And it's got 131 people have bookmarked it and 69 playthroughs. 69 people have played matches, or 69 matches have been played on there. That's a nice number. I like that. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and share this link in here into chat. Let's see. I'm going to move across the world in a few weeks, so that might stale the progress, Lamau. Well, that's okay. Because if you're staled with your scripting the same amount as I was, which is an absurd amount for moving because there's also the baby being born and holidays and then also everything was happening at one time, like I said. But the internet issue. So if you move to a new place and have internet issues and have to resolve them and it ends up being a whole month, I'll be working on the map during that time, so at least the map will be getting some progress in one area, even if it's not in the other area. So where are you moving though, like Aaron said? Anywhere nice? Let me put this into the description of the video as well. Oh, I need to work on this description. It just occurred to me it still says the thing about Max Hoberman and all that kind of stuff. I might have to go back into all my old ones. Moving to Tokyo. Nice. That's cool. Tokyo is a cool place to be. I have never gotten to go there, but I have literally like 10 of my friends, some of them family, have been to Tokyo on vacation to go visit, and they all come back saying they had a ton of fun. But yeah. And obviously vacationing and living somewhere is totally, those are completely different things. But yeah, it's you always want to stay yeah. If you have the money, which most people do not, and I would not if I wanted to move somewhere like that, then I hear it's a great idea to do an extended stay somewhere before you decide to move there. But it's not, most people cannot do that. But yeah, so anyway, that's kind of the map idea so far. Oh, you should just dox yourself. Give a street address. I'm just kidding. That would be so dumb. This is like Zanzibar. Yeah, yeah. So this is way too big. It looks cooler this way, though. That's why I decided to spread it out like this, because of this terrain around the outside. If this tiny little area in the middle and this big old desert and then that out on the outside, I thought it'd feel weird. What? Yeah, like, well, oh, Glockster guy said, like Zanzibar. The what? Yes, exactly. I have no idea what the hell that means, to be honest. And I was going to ask you what you meant. But yeah, that doesn't make any sense to me. What you mean? Oh, like moving to Zanzibar? What's up?
Aurora kicked me for no reason.
She kicked you.
For no reason.
I mean, it doesn't matter if she has a reason. She shouldn't be kicking you. Yeah, I'm gonna have a talk with her.
She kicked her because she told me to attack a polar bear.
To attack her polar bear?
Yeah, and then she kicked me.
Oh man. Well, I might have to go off and resolve a fight. And also get them breakfast. Because I'm sure. Have you eaten yet?
Nope.
Nope. Okay, I need to get you breakfast. Okay, so I need to get going. It's getting late, and it was a short stream today. I already knew it was going to be a short stream because it took me so long to freaking get on here, and because there were so many little things I had to do to prep right before this that all added up. But yeah, so this is the idea for the map so far. Oh, like Zanzibar, you want to move? You're talking about? Oh, right. I know what you're talking about. You want me? Yeah. We were talking about me going and helping the dude who made Zanzibar work on that wheel to turn. And yes, that is like Zanzibar. Now I understand what you're talking about. I don't know why I didn't actually get that, but yeah, I got you now. Like Zanzibar, I can work on that off stream, like during that time. Yes, and that script shouldn't take too long. That would be like a day or something, maybe 2 days, because it's mostly. Actually, no, I have to talk to Clint about that one anyway, because I need to figure out how to do rotation instead of just moving in a straight line, because his rotation rotates around a point that's not at the center of any of the individual objects. It's at the center of the fan. So actually, I don't know how to do that. Remakes make me have a stroke, to be honest. Yeah, well, okay, at the beginning, it was really cool to see a bunch of people making remakes, because I wanted to play them. And then on top of that, you got to see this map being built from the ground up, and it kind of was like this nostalgia. Like you wanted to see, like back in the day with the Vidocs, it was really interesting watching sort of the developers create Halo in, a sort of sense, right? But basically, yeah, if you, at the same time though, like you're saying, it gives you a stroke, because it's like, okay, we've got enough remakes at this point. Let that take more time, guys. Spread it out. More people need to focus on their own maps, because 1 or 2 people can become the remake person if everyone else focuses on their own maps, and then by the end of it, by like a year or 2 from now, we will have all of the remakes that anybody could have wanted. Because those remake people were taking requests and doing the ones that majority ruled, and then the people who are really, the other people who are really good at Forge could be making their own thing, and then yeah, no, so I agree with you, Aaron. I think that the remake that there's sort of a remake problem right now, and that the only thing that sort of seems to stop people from doing their remakes and go off and do something else is whenever Forge Hub comes with a contest for a map. And then everybody starts going like, I want to make a map to compete in that. And that happened with me, but my remake, I was already planning on switching to original. If you're going to work on 2 maps, make one Zanzibar. I do not want to do Zanzibar from the ground up. Someone else already made Zanzibar, and it's a good version. I might talk to them about helping them improve it, either with feedback that they can fix, or with helping them with the scripting if they can't do scripting, or something like that. But I just feel like there's a Blood Gulch. There's someone who remade Blood Gulch, and to be honest, chuck Zanzibar in the bin. To be honest, with Zanzibar, there was a thing about it that kind of bothered me. I just realized there are natural roads on this map that are like sort of like natural road looking things, and if we use the terrain that pulls that image up onto it, we can actually draw from that and bring it up onto and use that to position our bases. But I also need to make sure I don't do anything that's like too catty corner, if the scripting will have problems with that. So yeah, we'll have to talk about that later, Aaron. Anyway, Zanzibar is going to be a really cool map that I really want to be in there, and someone has already made it. So I think that we need to help them improve theirs. Like as a community of forgers, we need to start doing more teamwork, where we go in, we look at other people's maps. We actually play other people's maps because mostly I just make maps. I play some every now and then, but like mostly I'm just making maps. I've barely touched the custom game browser, and honestly, everyone in the custom game browser is going off to make their maps and focus on them for things like the Forge Hub is killing the custom game browser. There's only like a couple of custom games in there at any given point in time. Yeah, we're gonna. It's like not killing. It's choking. It's strangling it. I wouldn't say it's killing it, but it's definitely making it not able to breathe as much. Needs new life all the time. There's a bare minimum number of custom games in there at a given point in time, which means there's no one playing my Waterworks right this second. You know what I mean? Well, maybe now because I just shared it in here and someone, because Gloucester was asking, and so maybe Gloucester is playing right this second. I have no idea, but. So all that work I put into it, and it's not even being played right this second. And I feel like maps like Waterworks that I got to being fully done are important. But like, for example, me and the other 2 people or 3 people who made Waterworks could have worked as a team and gotten Waterworks done faster. Or if not work as a team to build it, we could have if one of them had made it and gotten it to where it's almost there, and I'd gone in there and helped, like Ocom came in and helped, Clin came in and helped, and Computron came in and helped. The 3 of them helping me make Waterworks made Waterworks as good as it is. It's not just my work that did it. It would have taken me probably another month to get it to this place, or longer, to learn all of these things myself instead of having, people teach me. So basically, if we want to make more remakes, we need people who know how to do certain things, or maybe even learned, like some of you guys learned from Ocom and stuff like that by watching my stream. You might be able to take that information over to the people who made Zanzibar and help them do it. You could go to the stream that shows how to script to make the entire pump shroud move and send that to the person who made Zanzibar, and they may be good at scripting on their own, and they just need that extra oomph, so that Clin's code in the stream where I made it and showed it off they can go over it, study it, and learn from it. I feel like that would be, this would be a more, what do you call it? Sustainable, more sustainable Forge community if we start doing that, because this whole thing where we're constantly competing by making the same map with remakes is crazy. Another thing, I was going to make a Blamite mine, because there was a map, or there was going to be a level in Halo 2 or Halo 1 or something like that. I don't remember which one, maybe Halo 3, where you were going to go into a Blamite mine, right? The needler ammo, Blamite. Where a crystal mine, the explosive things. And now it turns out that 343 is working on that. Leaks have shown 343 is working on that map. They're making a Blamite mine, a banished themed Blamite mine already. So I don't even have to make that. If I had started making that, imagine if I had started making that today or yesterday, and the leaks hadn't happened. By the time that map is actually made, I would be making a duplicate of their map, or people would start comparing my version to theirs if mine turned out to be equivalent in quality and different. You know what I mean? It would be weird. But the point is that it would be a waste, because I could have been making something that was different, that hasn't been made, that isn't in the works, So I just feel like new maps are probably the better option overall. And remakes, the people who are making remakes, I think remakes are good for people who are learning, especially. Like I was trying to learn with Waterworks. People who are trying to learn that are newer should make remakes, and then learn how to make it look as close to the original as possible, because as they're trying to stretch their mind to try and use these objects to make it look close to the original, they're gonna learn all these new techniques. And then I think they should do like what I'm gonna do with Waterworks and use as a block out to make a glow up version, because then they can learn to use the objects that they weren't using. They can stretch their brain in a different way and use more creative objects. The point is, I just feel like that we're at a place where new maps are what's called for. And so I'm probably not going to work on I'm not going to do Zanzibar, but I might go help that person do Zanzibar. Like I helped, gosh, I forget your profile name. Anyway, like I helped, what's his name, with his, what do you call it? DBZ map, the hyperbolic time chamber with the different gravity increasing as you get farther away from the center of the map and all that kind of stuff. And speed, your player speed being really high at the center, and you really jump really high. Anyway, the point is that, helping people out, I think, is the best bet. remake maps, because you can kind of cloud source it. You can just say, okay, everyone's making remakes maps already. I can just go find the remake that looks closest to the best, in my opinion, and talk to that person. If they find out if they're still working on it, if they're still actively working on it, then I can talk to them about upgrading it. I can give them harsh criticism about the visuals if I have to, but basically always positive to keep them engaged. Otherwise, they're going to end up quitting. But the point is that there's a bunch of different ways to do it. But I think that that's what we need to do. Personally, what do you guys think? That on stream I'm going to be making my own stuff that's new, and stop making remakes. And if I do eventually, it'll go back to doing a remake later after I've done a bunch of other stuff, after I've found out that there's no one remaking one map. There's actually a couple of remakes that I want to do that aren't remakes. I want to see someone make a perfect, like, one-to-one Derelict, so that I can go in there and expand on it, because I have an idea to make a big team battle map out of Derelict, involving, fusion coils powering sections of the derelict spacecraft back on, so that they hard light project themselves into the open space around the spacecraft, and walls disappear, doors appear, and you expand the map. And if you have a certain number of players, more of the map is already built at the start of the match, so you're not in this you can't go big team battle and then be in that tiny little room. But if you're 4v4, you can like expand out and make weapons appear and stuff like that. It was actually an idea that's going back to whenever I very first, I've got it written down in a text message from like Forge releasing, that kind of has overlap with this map, because it's about building out. Anyway, I'm just talking and getting way off topic, and I think I probably need to go, feed my daughter, and talk to my other daughter about kicking and how that's not a good thing to do, and teach her a lesson about, not kicking people, if I can. Obviously, I've taught her that a million times, and so I do have to get going now. So I will catch you guys later. Yeah, this is the map we're going to be working on from now on. This is the new project idea. And I didn't have an image for it, so I couldn't put it as a thumbnail because there's nothing to work on.
Look at the map what I have for my school.
The maps you have for your school?
The map within the book.
I can find you that in just a minute. It's probably still missing from moving. But yeah. Okay. So, that's it. I'll catch you guys later. Sorry. And I'm gonna start working on this. I might start working on it off stream, so I have a thumbnail for something for a thumbnail for next week. And it might just be like, I find out the scale we need to do, or not next stream, like tomorrow. So I can find out what scale we need to do, build out enough to where there's a good distance from from the base location to the different locations, and just sort of get a rough out. You know what I mean? Something simple. And then hopefully I can get that done by tomorrow, so I can get an overhead view screenshot of that for the thumbnail. If I do, whatever I have will be in the thumbnail, and you guys will see it right off the bat how far we've gotten, and then we'll work from there. And I'll talk to Clint off stream as well about anything he wants to tweak about this and things like that. But yeah, 15%, Clint. I'm giving you 15 whole % of the simulation memory just for scripts, and hopefully that's enough, because maybe we should even stretch it to 20. By the time we get to the point where I have to consume more, I've gotten up to 80%, and there's 20% left, we will know how much more you need. So that's what I'll do. We'll figure that out later if it's between 15 and 20%. Anyway, catch you guys later. Hopefully season 3 adds a ton of stuff that will make this map even cooler.